Hello and welcome everybody to today's very special webinar. Just before we get started, guys, just a quick check-in with those of you who are on the webinar at the moment. So just checking that Tom, Vladimir, Widya, Muteria, City, Joshua, Gunawan, Andrew, you guys can all hear me okay at the moment, and everybody else who's also on the session, you can all hear me okay currently, and you can see the presentation. Great to see you on here, Andrew, and we'll get started very shortly, guys, okay? Perfect. Thanks, Reese. Okay, so welcome to the biggest commodity trading opportunities right now. The live session will be covering how to make money trading the biggest commodity opportunities at the moment, how to use fixed odds trading for maximum profits. We'll cover live trading, precision trading setups. We'll be identifying potential trade setups, and of course, we'll be answering any questions that you may have as well during the session. So very simply, put any questions that you've got into the chat, okay? So you've got a chat function, Q&A function there as well, so put any questions you've got into that chat function. So we'll start off very quickly, moving over to the key markets that we trade on binary.com. The commodities that we trade, the most lucrative commodities which we trade off binary, are the following. We trade the metals, which are gold, silver, palladium, and platinum. So palladium and platinum became available recently on binary.com, and very lucrative markets because you don't have to pay any large spreads when you're trading these on binary. And also the energies that we'll be having a look at today will be crude oil. So these are the main markets we'll be focusing on during today's session. So just before I get started, let me introduce you to the Gold and Silver Club. The Gold and Silver Club is an international commodities trading, research and advisory group specializing in the precious metals, energies and agricultural markets. We're recognized as the leading go-to authority on commodities, and as internationally respected experts, our analysis and opinions on the metals, the energies, the agricultural markets, they're routinely sought by major financial television channels and publications, including Bloomberg, Reuters, CNN, Global Banking and Finance Review, and the Wall Street Journal, just to name a few. Our team has advised and taught technical analysis, fundamental research, and portfolio management to more than 50,000 private and institutional clients worldwide. So let's move on, and we'll have a look at the world's top 3 traded commodities. So maybe have a little bit of a think about that yourself, what you think those might be, the world's top traded commodities at the moment. So have a little bit of think about that, and we'll just move on to reveal what they are. So number 1 is crude oil. Crude oil is the world's number 1 traded commodity. The top producers of crude oil are Russia, Saudi Arabia, and the United States. These countries combined, they produced almost 94 million barrels of oil per day, which is traded on the global markets. The huge daily volume makes crude oil one of the most lucrative and profitable markets, and particularly commodities, to trade. And we'll take a look at some of the setups towards the end of today's session that we have at the moment on crude oil. Now, the second biggest commodities market in the world is coffee. Now, there are approximately 25 million farmers in over 50 countries involved in producing coffee around the world. An estimated 11 million hectares of the world's farmland are dedicated to coffee cultivation. And number 3, the world's third most traded commodity, that is gold, the precious metals. So regardless of whether gold's price moves up, down, or sideways, it plays a very important role within the financial markets. In times of global uncertainties, geopolitical tensions, economic crisis, we can see gold being regarded as the go-to safe haven. The volume for gold traded daily is 17 times more than the amount produced per day. So those are the top 3 traded commodities in the world. So how can you profit from these over the second half of 2015? Very simply, we're going to talk you through taking advantage of high probability news trading. First of all, we'll start with economic news which provides big moves for the precious metals. US non-farm payroll is an announcement which is the first Friday of every single month. It's a scheduled announcement. The next non-farm payroll report is going to be next Friday, the 1st of July, and this is something which is scheduled every single month, and it provides very lucrative trade opportunities, particularly on the precious metals and particularly on the gold market. I'll show you some examples of previous non-farm payroll announcements that we've been trading this year. You can see in January, earlier on this year, we had a lovely breakout non-farm payroll, 180-point move in 90 minutes. So very simply, this would be a rise trade for the price to close higher. When you're taking this on binary, very straightforward. You just need the price to close above the entry price. The second trade that we had this year on non-farm payroll was in February. That was again on the gold market, and this time we had a lovely sell short opportunity. We had a consolidation, we formed a pennant there just on the daily chart, and when we finally got to a very tight, you can see there the price really got tight within the apex of this pennant. We had a nice breakdown, and we broke down over 220 points, so it was just a very simple sell trade for the price to be lower. And also in March here, you can see we had another opportunity to go for a sell short. In this case, again, trading gold, and we had a 250-point sell-off in 90 minutes. And again, very simply, just the price to be lower. So very simply, just selecting the gold market price to be lower and select the time frame, which when we trade non-farm payroll is a much tighter time frame. And you can see we've broken down significantly lower. Okay, so that is the non-farm payroll news announcements that are scheduled the first Friday of every single month. So that's your first point. Over the next 6 months, we'll have 6 of those announcements. The next one will be next Friday, and it's a very lucrative trading opportunity every single month for the gold market. The next big market mover for the precious metals is the US Federal Reserve FOMC announcement. As head of the Federal Reserve, Janet Yellen, she has more influence over the US dollar's value than any other person. Her speeches are followed closely by traders, and usually they present highly lucrative trading opportunities. I'll talk you through some of the Federal Reserve announcements we've had over certainly the last 4 years here. I'll talk you through the most recent one, which we actually had last Wednesday. And just to give you an idea of the irregularity of these announcements, we have 8 lucrative trading opportunities per year. The FOMC statement, which we trade live with all of our traders at the Gold and Silver Club, and there's an opportunity for you to join us on the next one too. The next scheduled FOMC meeting and announcement is going to be on Wednesday, the 29th of July. So it's just over a month away. You can see clearly there we have 8 FOMC meetings per year, and we just had the June FOMC statement last Wednesday. So let me show you some examples of previous FOMC announcements and the sort of breakout trades that we often get following on from that. So this was going back to September 2011. This is where the FOMC, they launched Operation Twist, which immediately caused a huge breakout in the US dollar to the upside and caused a big breakdown on the precious metals. We saw a 700-point move on silver in 24 hours. To put that in the context of the silver market, silver day to day at the moment, even having a look at today, the daily movement, silver moved about 25 points today. Day to day, silver tends to move anything from about 25 to 40 points per day. In 24 hours, it moved 700 points. This is about 20 times more than its usual day-to-day movement on the FOMC announcement. And in this case, very simple, just go for a lower trade for the price to close lower, and you can see we had a really nice breakdown in price. Now, September 2012 on the FOMC announcement, this is when they launched QE3. And you can see here from QE3, gold and silver skyrocketed 500 and 200 points in less than 3 hours on QE3. So this was another huge move. And just going back to, Kelvin, your questions there as well. We'll come on to those very shortly. Some good questions there just regarding how you can join and whether you can take these trade setups as well. We'll come into that very shortly, Kelvin, no problem. If we go over to, this was just a couple of years ago now, so June 2013. This was the FOMC statement. Again, June tends to be a very lucrative announcement. We've just had the last FOMC statement just last Wednesday where we saw a nice breakout to the upside on gold, and we'll talk you through that very shortly. This was going back to 2013, and we saw a 900-point drop in gold within 48 hours. And again, when you're trading on binary, very simple trade, just the price to be lower. And you can see in this example here, again, we just continue to break down over the next 48 hours. And you'll note we're going back a fair way away. We're going all the way back to 2011 because we've been live trading this with our traders at the Gold and Silver Club for over 4 years. And you can see a lot of these announcements which are being traded live, as well as all the experience that we've got throughout the years trading this announcement. We've been trading it live. You can see all the screenshots and the recordings of our previous trading these live announcements for the FOMC statements. It's a very predictable trade which occurs 8 times per year. So this is the September 2013 trade where we had FOMC announced no tapering. On that announcement, we saw a 600-point breakout, a huge move to the upside. 600-point breakout in minutes. We saw just a huge breakout to the upside. And again, that was just a rise trade for the price to close higher in that instance. Going back to last year in June 2014, we saw a breakout trade. This was over 400 points to the upside. So gold broke out hugely in just over 24 hours here. We saw a lovely move to the upside. And also just going back to October 2014, this is when the Federal Reserve, they ended quantitative easing in America, and on that announcement we immediately saw a huge breakdown, over 600-point move to the downside for gold, which was again a very lucrative opportunity just to go for a sell. So those, what have I given you so far? So that's 2 examples of highly predictable announcements which we get every single, you've got the first one, which is every single month, non-farm payrolls for trading gold. And then you've got 8 lucrative trading opportunities. And it's not just restricted to gold, by the way. You can also trade this on gold, on silver, on platinum, and palladium. You tend to get a very strong correlation with all of these markets on that particular news announcement. So that's with the precious metals. So now I'm going to move on to the world's #1 traded commodity. So you'll remember a little bit earlier on, we discussed the world's #1 traded commodity. If you remember what that was, the #1 traded commodity in the world. That is, of course, crude oil. Crude oil is the #1 traded commodity in the whole world. Crude oil prices in 2015, for the first 6 months of the year, we saw WTI, or light sweet crude oil, it started the year at $43 a barrel. By the end of May, we were trading just below $63 a barrel, up 47% on the year. Now, Brent crude oil started the year at $45 a barrel, and by the end of May was trading at nearly $70 per barrel, which was incredible, up 57% year to date. Crude oil prices have now gained for 11 consecutive weeks in a row, and it's oil's longest winning streak going back all the way to 1983. So we've seen some incredible moves on oil, and there's a few reasons for that. I'll talk you through the biggest oil trading opportunities right now. This is very important. It is the US oil rig data, and the next oil count data is released tomorrow on the 26th of June. This is something which happens every single week on a Friday. And this has helped significantly with the breakouts that we've seen on oil over 2015. The weekly US rig count data it's generated considerable excitement in the oil markets recently as that data released significantly moves crude oil prices. The data identifies the level of drilling activity, and it's regarded as a gauge for the health of the US oil economy and industry. When the rig count is increasing, that is usually viewed as bearish for crude oil prices. However, when the rig count is decreasing, okay, I'll repeat that again, when the oil rig count is decreasing, which has been happening all over 2015, that is viewed as bullish for crude oil prices. So far in 2015, the US rig count has fallen for 26 straight weeks. It's at its lowest levels since 2010. And let me show you that and put it into perspective for you, just so you can see how this looks on a graph. This has been the oil rig count in the lead up to 2015. You can see there's been a steady increase in 2010, in 2011, in 2012, 2013 started to consolidate, 2014, and then this year we've just seen a huge drop in the oil rig count. And this has caused huge market moves to the upside for oil. This has really helped with the big breakouts that we've had on oil so far in 2015. And that's important. That data is released every single Friday, so it'll be released again tomorrow. And for those of you who regularly come on our Commodities Corner, you'll note there's very often opportunities to trade oil on Fridays. And this is mainly due to the oil rig data, which comes out every single Friday. This is an example here, just going back to the end of May, where we saw on that oil rig data, we immediately saw a breakout. Actually ended up being a 400-point move in just 1 hour. So we had an incredible move all the way from $57 up just shy of $61. So incredible move that we saw on oil just on that rig data. It's very important. It moves the markets a lot. Now, the other important date for the diary here is going to be the June 30th. Okay, so that's going to be next Tuesday. June 30th is the deadline for Iran and 6 world powers, the US, China, Russia, the UK, France, and Germany, to negotiate a comprehensive deal on nuclear power. So Western sanctions currently restrict Iran's ability to sell oil and have limited its exports to just 1 million barrels a day. If the deal is agreed on June the 30th, next Tuesday, international sanctions will be lifted, allowing Iran to ramp up its oil production by an extra 1 million barrels per day. That's next Tuesday. Now, we are in, at the moment with oil, a very oversupplied market. We've seen moves in the first 6 months of the year with oil of over 57% to the upside. We're coming near quite an important level at the moment where for those of you who might study Fibonacci or you may study key moving averages, we're coming to a significant resistance zone probably within the next week or so, which could time very nicely going into next Tuesday for this big announcement. It could potentially, if the technicals support this, if we get a signal for a sell, it could lead to a very big shorting opportunity. And by shorting, I mean a sell short opportunity. And that could be next week. So this is definitely an announcement you want to have on your radar. So the biggest trading opportunities I see right now going into the next 6 months, well, you've got on the precious metals, you've got your high probability US news, which we discussed for trading gold, silver, platinum, palladium. And with the energies, with crude oil, you've got the weekly oil reports, so the rig count every single Friday. And of course, we've got next Tuesday, the Iran nuclear deal, which could really provide some significant trade opportunities as we come into next week. So what we'll do now, we'll go over some live trading now. We'll have a look at some of the setups which are developing. We'll see if there's any trades which are available just to take at the moment. We'll be using the rise and fall type of trades on binary. If you select rises, you will win the payout if the market exit price is strictly higher than the entry price. And if you select falls, you win the payout if the market exit price is strictly lower than the entry price. Okay, so these are the two types of trades that we'll be looking at today. Very straightforward, rise or the fall type of trade. Okay, so we'll move over and have a look at the technicals. I'll show you my charts, and we'll just there's a couple of setups I can see lining up at the moment, so we'll see what the overall payout is on those trades, and we'll see if we've got some trades we can actually take this evening as well. So bear with me as I just switch you over to my charts. Okay, perfect. So you should be able to see my screen at the moment. And again, guys, I would encourage you, if there are any questions at all, do feel free to post those in the chat. Good to see. Hey, Peter, good to see you here. Great stuff. Hey there, Lloyd, Eric, Ian, and Tom. Hi there, guys. Fantastic. And we'll move over to some of the setups we're starting to line up at the moment. Okay, so the first setup I want us to have a look at, I think might have to be quick here before we actually expire on oil in the next 8 minutes. Let me just double check. Yeah, I think we can still take we can still take oil at the moment actually. So we need to be quickish about this. So bear with me as I bring up my deal ticket. Okay, good. So I'm just going to show you a couple of points on oil at the moment. We'll just move it out. We're having a look at the moment. In fact, Brent crude oil is the market I want to take a trade on right now. So what you'll note on Brent crude oil, we've got a very strong trend channel. I mean, I haven't really adjusted this channel much at all. We've been discussing this previously on binary webinars. So we've got this very strong trend channel going all the way back to the beginning of January. We bounced off it again towards the end of March, beginning of April. We again found support just at the beginning of June, and we've bounced off this level just again today. And we did last week too. So it's definitely a very important support zone here. We've also got an overhead resistance channel, which we can see is in development. We're forming a little bit of certainly consolidation towards the end of this pennant formation as well. And I'm just looking for the price to be higher by the close tomorrow, getting a nice little bounce off this level at the moment, off the lower end of the trend channel. Current price 63.18, and I haven't got too long left to place this trade. I've got about 6 or 7 minutes here, so I'll go through the criteria with you on this particular trade. So I'm on oil, okay? So crude oil. This is very simply going to be you've got a higher or lower trade here. I'll just double check we've got everything okay on our criteria of this trade. You've got higher or lower or rise and fall. Yep, we're in the rise and fall. Okay, perfect. So we've got the energy. So again, you want to go over select energy. You want to drop down to oil. The start time on this trade is now. The duration I'm going for is 1 day. I just want to be in and out by the close on Friday. You've got the oil rig count tomorrow. Current price 63.19, 63.20, and it's going up at the moment. Nice bounce off the lower end of the trend channel. I'm going for an 88% payout. Let's get the best price again. So $2,132 for a $4,000 payout. That will be absolutely fine. Okay, you can already see that nice rejection. So for those of you who you may be newer to trading, or you don't really understand what I'm talking about when I talk about the technicals here, very simply, we have got trend channels on the chart. You've got a lower trend channel and an upper trend channel. The price is ricocheting between these levels. Now, at the moment, we've come back down and we've tested the support trend channel on oil. This has been in place since the beginning of the year, since 14th of January 2015. So far this year, at its peak, oil rallied up, Brent crude oil, 57% by the end of May. We're still consolidating, but we're forming higher lows on the chart. I'm looking for a buy at this zone right now, okay? So I'm going to take this for a buy on oil. In fact, I've got a better price now. 63.14. You've got to be quick if you are going to take this trade. I believe we've got 5 minutes left to take it. So I'm going to go for the price to be higher by the close tomorrow. So I'm going to purchase that for a buy. Perfect. So that has been done. I've purchased this trade. That has been my first trade that I've entered at the moment. Now, the overall structure on gold, silver, platinum, palladium, we can have a look at that in a sec, but I do actually really like oil here as we move into next week. So I'm also going to do another trade here where I'm looking to be in and out of this trade, just duration by Monday, okay? So I'm going to take 2 trades. I'm going to split my risk on the trade. And I'll go a little bit less in terms of my risk there for a $1,000 deposit for a $2,000 payout, because we've already taken the first trade there. So I just want to compound my returns here. You can see it's coming back up again, 63.20. So this time I've changed my duration to 4 days, still the same market, Brent crude oil. I'm taking 2 trades on the same market because I see the opportunity here for a breakout as we come into next week, especially Monday as well. See, the other price I got in was 63.14, and now we're at 63.22. If this was the closing price right now, it would win that trade. The price only needs to close 1 point higher, win the entire trade. Okay, I'll take that price, 63.17. That will do nicely. Okay, great. That has been taken. I'm in 2 trades, buy trades, rise trades on oil now. Okay, so I've been triggered into both of those trades. So let's move it along, and we'll just have a look now. We'll get the overall markets into context at the moment. So let's move over and have a look at gold, shall we? So first of all, we'll look at the gold market. Gold is just continuing to consolidate at the moment. We saw a nice breakout last week on the FOMC statement. We came up to 12.05. We've then, you can see here, we consolidated on Friday, and we've eventually broken down over this week. Now, there is key support sitting at the 1170 zone right now. We haven't quite broken out from that layer at the moment. So you can see here, if I just move the price up ever so slightly, we've got a bit of a consolidation around this key support. Now, there is potential for a breakdown on gold as we come into Friday here as well. We've still got Greece hanging in the balance here, which can affect certainly gold in the coming week, and also the euro, of course, as well. But gold at the moment, potentially tomorrow, if we break through the 1170 zone, there may be a sell short opportunity. At the moment, I would be on the sidelines with gold until we get confirmation. We can see today we've just continued to consolidate. So we'll continue to, at the moment, I wouldn't take a new trade on it. Similar situation with silver. Silver continuing to consolidate. You've got very strong support just below, which is sitting around the 1575 zone. We've come down and retested that again just today. We formed a hammer off the daily here. We're definitely starting to consolidate as we come into July. So from pretty much Wednesday onwards next week, we will be into the 1st of July, and that could be a potential turning point as we come into the summer months here for the precious metals. So again, on the sidelines with silver, and we'll see if we break through key support tomorrow. Now, if we move over to platinum and palladium, I do know that platinum had quite a reasonable rally over the last 3 days. So we've really ricocheting well between a support and resistance channel at the moment. What I'd like to see is whether the platinum here can get a full-on breakout above resistance. You'll see there is a resistance channel overhead. We've come and retested the upper end of that trend channel. Potentially, we may retrace a little bit from here and ricochet back towards the lower end of the channel. Similar situation here on palladium as well. We've just continued. The overall breakdown that we've had on platinum has also been similar on palladium. Palladium broke down again today. It's retraced into the close, it looks like, sitting at $677 an ounce and 90 cents. We'll continue to assess that again tomorrow. Again, the clearest setup that we've got at the moment, I would say, is definitely on Brent crude oil. Nice buy opportunity at the moment. That's a clear setup. We've taken 2 positions, one to be out by the close tomorrow and another to be out by the close on Friday. So those are the key setups that we're looking at the moment, and the 2 trades that we are going to take this evening. Okay, so I'm just going to double check if there's been any additional questions come through. There's a few questions just about joining the Gold and Silver Club. So let me just move you over to the presentation and let me just talk you through that. Okay, right. So for those who've inquired just regarding the setups that we trade at the Gold and Silver Club, absolutely you can join us in trading at the Gold and Silver Club, and with that you'll get supported, you'll get live technical analysis, you can join us as we live trade major news announcements. The next non-farm payroll announcement will actually be next week. So there is an opportunity to actually trade that with us just next week for our live trading room. Very simply, if you would like to join us at the Gold and Silver Club for our regular live trading rooms throughout the week and also be a part of the international community that we have at the Gold and Silver Club and trade various news announcements with us live as well, you just want to go to www.jointhegoldandsilverclub.com. Okay, so just click on that link and that will take you to an enrollment form. Enrollment is by application only. Once you complete that form, we'll get in touch with you ASAP, and that form, very, very simple, will take you just about a minute or so to complete. Again, it's just at www.jointhegoldandsilverclub.com. Okay, so I'll give you guys a little bit of time to complete that. And for those of you that do complete that and you would like to join us, I very much look forward to welcoming you to the Gold and Silver Club. Okay, so I hope you all enjoyed today's session. I hope you all learned something about the opportunities that we've got coming up in the coming months, particularly on oil and the precious metals. And as I said, if you would like to get in touch and join us, do feel free to do so, just filling in the enrollment form. Okay, great stuff. So I wish you all good trading. Have a great weekend. For those of you who will be around tomorrow during the earlier part of the US session, we will be hosting the Commodities Corner at 12:30 p.m. London time as well, so we can catch you on that session too. Okay, thanks guys. Have a great evening and a profitable trading evening as well. Okay, take care guys. See you on the next one. Cheers. Bye-bye.